Yo guys, I go Shubi. Guys, as Shubi. It has been reported ukuthi Kaizer Chiefs have inquired about about Mediator, right? I'm gonna unpack all of that and make you understand ukuthi inquire, what does it mean as far as transfer news is concerned. Don't worry, we will unpack all of that to go to the stages of signing a player. It goes through 1, 2 and 3, provided that you are interested. If you are, then please stick around. As you stick around, guys, there's only one favor that I'm requesting from you, and that is you subscribe, you like the video, and you comment in the comment section below, because doing all of that, guys, it's free of charge. So since these things are free of charge, then please, guys, it does help out a lot. Now, let's unpack what is happening behind the closed doors based on what we have come to know. We have been told with Kaizer Chiefs Football Club, they are interested to sign with Junior Mediator, and they have made inquiries about him. And let me unpack to you what it means when they say a team has made an inquiry about a certain player, right? Don't worry, I'll get into that one in a short moment. But let's start here before we dive into that one. According to goals.com, Chiefs have made contact just to check a Junior Mediator's availability. Let me repeat this one. It is very much important in signing a player. Kaizer Chiefs have made contact just to check Junior Mediator's availability. They also did the same thing with Zita and Ashley before they could open transfer talk towards the end of last season. So a source revealed that, so I wouldn't be surprised if they come back and made an attempt to sign Mediator, because he is a superb player. Now, the laws of the game says that if, for instance, players are signed into another team from another team during the transfer window, but it doesn't mean that they cannot agree in between to get a point. So you find that like in the Bagam Tanzania, you find that Chiefs and Captain City agree a deal and the player signs a deal to get the point. Once that is completed, then we follow the second step, where remember that it is in the middle of the season. So this player cannot move from Cape Town City until that season end to Kaizer Chiefs, right? That can only happen where you happen to register a player at any time. If that player is just a free agent, it doesn't have a team, so it's easier. Now, the second stage is, hi, today, guys, I'm opening a class. Okay, I hope you enjoy this class. Don't worry, it's just unpacking the psychology of a transfer, or the procedural transfer window, how it happens, so that you can understand how, when I talk about Junior Mediator and Kaizer Chiefs making deals, so that you understand everything that I'm talking about in this YouTube channel. Kaizer Chiefs signing Mduduzi Mdantsane, Kaizer Chiefs signing a certain player as well, like I'm giving him Simang. It will explain the process and how things will unfold, right? So let's move into this one. So a team and a team A and Team B can agree to sell each other a player and sign that contract and together with the player and negotiate the terms, but they will not be able to register the player, like I told you. Then what the PSL does, during January, they open what we call it a transfer window. Transfer window allows that, you remember that we were saying Mduduzi Mdantsane and Kaizer Chiefs agreed a deal, or Msimang and Kaizer Chiefs agreed a deal in the middle of the season. That will mean during this transfer window, that is when the player can move from club A to club B. That is when now PSL allows the clubs to swap players and register them. So they look right now, given Msimang is a Kaizer Chiefs player, but according to PSL, he is registered as Stakes Galaxy until the end of the season, when Kaizer Chiefs will then take all the clearance letter, give it to EPSL. The clearance letter comes from it takes Galaxy to say, we have sold the player, he's clear to be registered with another team. To get the point. So what you are seeing, the approach that Kaizer Chiefs they are taking is that they go to Stellenbosch, they do what we call it, to check if the player is available. You know what it does? They start the negotiations now. They don't wait for the transfer window to open. They will want to start the negotiations now, agree on a deal, sign the player, but then they will register the player as theirs during the transfer window that will open in June. Now you get the point. So that therefore explains why they go to Stellenbosch and check if the player is available. Now, when they are checking if the player is available, remember the PSL prohibit that there should be a direct approach. You cannot go to the player and talk to the player. If the player is contracted to this club, so unless it's during the transfer window where you are now allowed, even then you need to inform the club that you are negotiating with this player as well. So right now what they are doing, they are checking availability. Means you are checking if by any chance Stellenbosch are willing to sell the player, willing to, which you can come to the table and negotiate for that player. Once they allow that, then they can also give you the right to talk to the player as well and hear what the player will say. So if you happens to see that, okay, there's a deal that can happen between you and the player, you don't talk to the player, because the player is contracted to the club. You then go back to the club and say, okay, you are willing to sell me the player, and the player is also open to come and join me. Then can we talk? It's still a negotiations between you and the club, and the club says, okay, we can talk. Go to the table. You open the negotiations. Then that's how this thing's supposed to be done according to FIFA statutes and the PSL. From there, if you agree, we go to this thing. To remember with Indabagam Tanzania, I said, according to SAPC Sport, they said Chiefs and Chiefs and Captain City, have agreed a deal. That means Bona they've agreed a deal. Now you go back to the player and say, since me and your parent club has agreed, now you start negotiating my salaries. Usually that is not a big deal. The problem is when you are negotiating from club to club. That's where the problem is. So that's what Kaizer Chiefs are trying to do. Negotiating from club to club. To get the point. Because that's where the key is. If that can succeed, then coming to junior mediator, it's not usually the case where let me give a practical example. The issue of Duduzi in Tanzania, we were told, which is just the final details between Duduzi in Tanzania and Kaizer Chiefs. Usually when a contract is on that stage, it doesn't fail. Usually. So you see now the process. I was just unpacking the process. This is how things are done. In order for you to sign a player, you cannot just go to the player and negotiate and then go to the club. No, you first check if the team, they are willing to come to the table and negotiate a deal so that you can buy that player. That is what Kaizer Chiefs have done. I was just explaining that process so that if we get to the next video and you keep hearing me saying they are checking the availability, that is what they are trying to do. Uguti, the law, the PSL law and the FIFA statute does not allow them to just say, oh, Pelo, can we negotiate? But I must emphasize this. You are only allowed to start negotiating directly with a player if the player has entered the final 6 months of his contract. Then you are not obligated now to go to the mother club and be mad about the mother club. At that moment, the player is free to sign a pre-contract with a team of his choice. E.g., we are told that the contract Otladisa at Marumo Gallants is expiring in June. Right now, Otladisa can sign a pre-contract with a team of his choice without the involvement of Marumo Gallants, because according to the FIFA statute, at this moment, he's now allowed to negotiate terms directly without the involvement of Marumo Gallants, so he can leave Marumo Gallants for free in June. Yeah, so we are also monitoring that story. We are also following that story to see, because according to what we are told is that Orlando Pirates are leading the race in signing Ukatleho Otladis, are saying that they might be going they might be going abroad, they might be playing in the CAF Champions League. So with that being said, I hope this class was beneficial to you in making you understand and reviving your knowledge. But until the next video, good people, please take care.